But now it's the period drama that caught the world by storm last year and left us all a bit hot under the collar and weak at the knees. We're all desperate to find out what's in store for the next series of Bridgerton. Oh, I'm really excited because we are joined, of course, as you can see, by Adjoa Andoh. It's such an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. You, of course, play the fabulous Lady Danbury, Lady D. Are you looking forward to the new series hitting the screens tomorrow so we can all see what you've been up to?
Oh, it's so lovely to be with you girls. Yes, I am. I think season 2... it kind of hits the ground running. You know, I think season 1, we were all excited. We knew it was the Shondaland show. It was based on a series of fantastically popular novels by Julia Quinn, and it was going out on Netflix. So we thought we were onto a good thing. But I think our minds were collectively blown by 85 million households watching it in the first 28 days. I mean, I can't even... You know, there's not 85 million people on this island. So it was like, but you know, we were all basically sat on our sofas in our pajamas. So you kind of, it was like huge and then it was really tiny. Well, so I think when we got back together for season 2, we were thrilled to be with each other just because you were seeing another human being and you were in outdoor clothes. So that was exciting. And I think season 2 just hits the ground running. It knows what it is. It's sort of fast, furious, fabulous, sexy in a new and different way because we have a new and different heartthrobby lead and potential heartthrobby partner. And so, yeah, I think it's really exciting. I'm really looking forward to everyone seeing it.
I did wonder,
there he is.
Was it quite emotional for you all to be back together?
Yeah, Katie, I think it was. I mean, the thing I was proud of when the show dropped on Christmas Day was, you know, we were all having the Christmas that nobody wanted, whether it's your religious festival or not. It's a time when people generally get together and they're with their friends and their family, and you're not sort of on your own and anxious and uncertain about what the future will bring. So I think there was something really beautiful about going, here's the show that's got a really wide embrace. It doesn't matter if you're gay or you're straight, if you're a homemaker or a woman that wants to go out into the world and do marvellous non-domestic things. Doesn't matter what your race is. It doesn't matter if you just want to watch a bit of Will They, Won't They? Oh, there's a fancy castle and look at the fabulous frock. Yeah. There was kind of something for everybody, and the embrace was wide. And I felt like it was an embrace that went, you know, I know we're on our own. We don't know what's happening. Come on in. Yeah. So I think we felt the privilege of that when we went back to do season 2, that we were doing a show that was receiving a lot of love and hopefully was sending out a lot of love as well.
OK, so crucial question. So none of us after lockdown could get back into our jeans. What was it like getting back into those corsets?
Brutal. Brutal. What can I tell you? You know, it's like you sort of go, OK, have you done it? And they're like, oh, no, the sides aren't touching. And you're like, like, what would you like for your lunch? Just give me a piece of lettuce. I can't get anything else to go down, you know.
And those wigs, they take 3 hours to put on?
So, as you can see, no hair. Nadia, you will understand this when you're getting into your whatever wiggy costumey thing. So I have to have a 360-degree wig. So at 4 a.m, I will be sitting in a makeup truck and we won't turn over till 8. And then we'll keep going until 7 p.m. So by the end of the day, I am hanging and I'm whistling Dixie. But it's because Lady Danbury has her hair up, my fault, my choice, all the way round. The disguise has to be good so that it goes over the ears and round. And round here. So, yeah, it's a beast to look normal.
And those beautiful ballroom scenes, the dancing that we all loved, it was such fantastic escapism. Now, they're not as glamorous as they look, are they?
No. So like a 10-minute ballroom sequence on screen, that might be 3 or 4 days shooting. So it's slow, it's long, it's really complicated getting the geography and the choreography of the geography of, oh, now we're going to walk through here and we're heading for there, but there's this dance doing this thing in the middle and the camera's got to get round here and all of that stuff. So it takes forever. And also you've got all the cast in the scene, and we're a proper British muckabout, don't take yourself too seriously, corpsey cast. So it's like, I think it's like you know, herding cats for the director, and they must dread those scenes.
Oh, it all sounds delicious. Now, we've got to ask, what about the nookie?
Well, now listen, so I think last season's nookie was sort of architecturally graphic in many respects. You know, there were some of us when we got to episode 6 or episode sex, as it was called in my house, who'd be going, right, we're going to put the kettle on now, you know, sitting watching it with my dad. No, I'm not. And so it's sort of differently sexy this season. I would say there's a lot more sort of that going on than that going
bosoms.
on. And, you know, there's a lot more, it's sort of sensuous and much more forbidden. And so when it, you know, when you do get the climax, you get the climax.
Will we see Lady Danbury have a love interest, do you think, this time?
Oh, my God, I would love Lady Danbury to have a love interest, because just because you're over 50 does not mean that you don't still, you know, the blood still heats and there are juices flowing and we all want a bit of life and excitement. So I would hope that is still to come. Lady Danbury's certainly up for it.
So just moving outside the show for a minute here, I understand that kind of as an adult, you've just been diagnosed with dyspraxia. Tell us about that.
No. I was, yes, I was diagnosed as an adult, but I wasn't even diagnosed. So it was my eldest daughter who, you know, she's a big grown-up mother of her own school teacher now. But when she was at her nursery in the 80s, it just happened that a young woman came along who was doing her PhD in paediatric occupational therapy. So she got all the kids to do all these different tests. And my daughter sort of came back stratospherically off the charts for dyspraxia. And I was a bit like, she's just like I was when I was a kid. I didn't think there was anything to it. You know, I was the kid who, when they were picking school teams for sports, it would be me and the girl with tremendously thick glasses who would be left to be picked, because everybody knew that I was hopeless. Me and Christine Temlett. Adjoa and Christine would be last to be picked. And my mother was my games mistress at secondary school, and my uncle was playing rugby for England at the time. Yeah. So the family was tremendously gifted in sports sort of styly on the one side, and then me, God loves a trier, very enthusiastic, you know, but I'd be like, I'm just going to catch the... Oh, just pick it off the floor then. I was that person.
So it's sort of about lack of spatial awareness and skills, so, is that right?
So dyspraxia and dyslexia are on the same spectrum. My daughter's also dyslexic, and we didn't get the dyslexia bit till she'd finished her first degree. She could have had time in exams and you know, all sorts of stuff we didn't know. So I would say to anybody who's got the responsibility for caring for children, if you sniff that they might be dyspraxic or dyslexic, get them tested as soon as you can. Make your school do it, because that, you know, you can get extra time in exams, you can get different sorts of colour paper. I mean, there's so much support that's available now, because it's nothing to do with your intelligence or your IQ. It's just the brain is sort of wired. So, for example, my natural posture is that. Because the muscles don't develop properly in your torso. We're always in trouble for bad handwriting because the muscles in your shoulders don't develop properly. So your fine motor skills are not good. Quite often dyspraxic people, they can't deal with labels or itchy fabric, riding bicycles, balance, all that sort of stuff. You can do it, but you really have to, practice. So, you know, when I took my driving test, I passed first time, but I had so many lessons, and I was like to Maxie, my driving instructor, no, you have to explain how the gearbox works, because I need to understand how everything goes. And we'd be driving along and he'd be going, you can go above 15 miles an hour. And I'd be like, I'm in a killing machine. No, I can't. You know,
Adjoa, thanks so much for all of that, because I think that there's lots of stuff you said that neither of us had ever really heard about, because we didn't really understand, you know, the different ways in which that you have to live your life as a result of having dyspraxia. So thanks so much for that, and it's an absolute joy to see your beaming face and that beautiful smile of yours, and we look forward to watching the next series of Bridgerton when it kicks off tomorrow. I know that Nadia is very excited.
I can't wait.
And hopefully we'll see you soon.
Okay, lots of love.
Bye-bye.